What you think?
What I think? You want me to go first?
So you came on, well, first.
Whoa, a direct attack to me about Cam and the Carolina?
Let me answer the question. Yes, the experiment as a starter should absolutely be over. And the experiment never should have begun.
Open your eyes, please.
Nope. I don't even want to look at you, Sal, because you are part of the reason the Panthers are in this situation.
What you mean, you people?
Y'all made an emotional decision that didn't need to be emotional. Panthers saw Cam Newton and got all emotional and said, he's back, let's rush him out there as a starter. But if he was on the street for 9 weeks, 31 other teams saw Cam Newton and said, he's not good enough to be on our squad. Panthers, you saw Cam Newton and said, he's not good enough to be on our squad. Then why in God's name would you acquire Cam Newton and instantly start a man who you saw for 9 weeks and chose not only to not start, but to not employ? It didn't make sense. The entire decision to start Cam Newton was irrational, it was emotional, and now Cam Newton is on the bench, and now everything is in turmoil. When all you had to do was use your head and not your heart, and you would have landed up in an okay situation. Sal, the Panthers done embarrassed Cam Newton. Cam Newton went out there and had a 5.8 passer rating.
5.8?
5.8.
Damn, that's higher than a 4.0.
You could throw the ball.
GPS.
You could throw the ball into the dirt on every single snap. You could spike the ball and have a 39 passer rating.
So who wants to do that?
5.8.
Who wants to do that? If I'm going to fail the best.
So Cam Newton had a 23% completion percentage. That's less than 1 every 4. That's the worst completion percentage since 2004 for a quarterback with more than 20 attempts.
How you know?
Forget the stats. Let's just talk
How
real.
You know?
I told y'all, you can't lead the movie with Superman. Because who is supposed to save Superman? Nobody's supposed to save Superman because Superman should need no saving. So how dare you march Superman out the movie and march in P.J. Walker off a lift? P.J. done got out the lift. And not even an Uber Black, not even a Lyft Black. P.J. Walker got out the Uber X.
Is Black good?
And showed up on the field.
Is Black good?
So this Cam Newton, I got so much heat right now because you also tried to tell me
I got a lot.
That Cam Newton was a starter. That's what we spent 30 minutes of my life that I'll never get back. We spent 30 minutes debating if Cam Newton was a starter. And I asked Marcellus a simple question. I said, is Taylor Heineke a starter? Because if Taylor Heineke is a starter, then sure Cam is a starter. But outside of that, no, Cam's not a starter. Why? Because the market, it dictates your value. So, Cam Newton has now lost to Taylor Heineke, bottom 20 quarterback in the NFL, bottom 10 quarterback in the NFL, and he lost to Tua Tagovailoa. Tua also is presently a bottom 10 quarterback in the NFL. So if you are worse by wins and losses than 2 bottom 10 quarterbacks in the NFL, then what does that make you?
Wow, Tom Brady lost to Taylor Heineke. What does that make Tom Brady? Go ahead. Go ahead.
Do the week
no, don't you do that. You don't want to even answer what you posed to me rhetorically?
So,
wow.
As I look at it, the Cam Newton experiment never should have started. Unfortunately, we had irrational, emotional individuals making that decision, and now Cam Newton is in a whole bunch of unnecessary turmoil.
Man, I know we went to 2 different schools, but I hope that the word experiment means the same in Texas as it did in New York City at Columbia. Experiment, is it over? No. It's an experiment. The very nature of experiment doesn't guarantee you it's going to work, right? And I think that you have already leaped past the definition of experiment to say it has to work. Oh, Acho, you got so much to learn about Cam Newton and this experiment. All right. Cam Newton was asked to do the impossible, not once, but twice. In case of emergency, break glass. Bill Belichick finds himself without Tom Brady. Tom Brady, the real Captain America, forget Superman, Captain America Tom Brady says, I must depart down south to win a Super Bowl. Flies away from Foxborough. And Bill Belichick, you know him, he got to keep that stone face. You know inside he was crying, what am I supposed to do? And you know what he did? In case of emergency, break glass and ask Cam to come out and save it. No preseason, right? No offseason. Comes out there and wins 7 games for you, but it was really a failing effort as an experiment. The next year, Cam Newton loses out to a rookie because Tom Brady's been gone. Bill Belichick realized what he needs is mini-me of Tom Brady and saw Mac Jones coming through, and teams like the 49ers were passing up on him. He's like, what the hell? That's mini-me right there. Went and got Tom Brady's replacement. And Cam Newton, once again, got put into that glass. And in case of emergency, you break the glass and ask Cam Newton to save who? the Carolina Panthers and return home. Let me tell you something, man. We're asking for roses to grow from the concrete. That's all we're asking about Cam Newton of late, and this is a dark time for Cam Newton. To be serious about it, this is how you go from Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers, former MVP, whatever you want to call Cam Newton of yesterday, to Andy Dalton. This is how you go from being a starter MVP to now, dog, you got to fight to not be on the bench. This is Space Mountain. Have you ever been to Disneyland since you've been out here? You been on Space Mountain?
Not since I've been out here.
A while back. Oh, you sure be in L.A. a lot, Lincoln Riley, not to be loving L.A. like that, Lincoln Riley. So here's the thing. If you go to Space Mountain the first time, oh, it gets you. First time you go into a roller coaster and it's dark, you're like, where the track at? And it's like, I don't even want to know where the track is. You're like, damn, a dark you can't see anything. But then you get older. Next time you go, save up your money, go to Disneyland. It's more expensive, but you can go. And you go this time, without even trying, all of a sudden you can see the track. You can say, oh, I see where this is going. And Cam Newton, after this time, is going to be able to see where this is going. You know why? Because Cam Newton's in transition. He's not a quarterback you put your franchise on and say, hey, let's go out there and win a Super Bowl. But he's a guy who you can bring in it's times like this of experiment to see how much juice he has left. And if you look at this locker room that is dispirited because, one, they're in this losing situation, but two, no Christian McCaffrey, no other person can lift the spirits of this locker room and get the most out of them but Cam Newton.
So let's talk experiments. Let's talk experiments.
You know what it means now? You know what it means now?
I wouldn't experiment with putting foil in a microwave.
Not me either.
I wouldn't experiment.
I saw Gremlins.
I wouldn't experiment with putting a fork in an outlet. Because some experiments I know will end in disaster.
Child locks on them.
I wouldn't experiment with starting Cam Newton for the Carolina Panthers.
That ain't foil in no microwave.
Because some experiments, a 5.8 passer rating is just as disastrous as foil in a microwave. Y'all go try it. Don't try it at all. So some experiments I just steer clear of. Some experiments I already know the outcome. Some experiments I already know that I don't want to see how this goes because it will be disastrous. This was an experiment we knew would be disastrous. I told you it would be disastrous.
How do you tell me?
Mark Sanchez was to my left, and I went for 15 minutes and said, hey, the only thing that will come from Cam Newton is viral videos and great memes. But Cam Newton is not going to be able to win a lot of games, and the Panthers are setting him up for failure. This is not on Cam Newton. Again, I repeat. This is not on Cam Newton. You should not be in certain situations that you are not equipped to handle for whatever reason. Cam had not played ball for 9 weeks this season, and you want to thrust him into a starting lineup?
Oh, I get where you're coming from.
I get where you're coming from. He threw 3 passes against the Arizona Cardinals, many of which were inaccurate, 2 of which were inaccurate. And you want to thrust him into the starting lineup the very next week? It made no sense. Don't set Cam up for failure, because now, did you watch the game yesterday, see his long face? Imagine 6'5", 230 Cam Newton jogging off the field and P.J. Walker jogging on.
Yeah, that's what
now imagine where Cam Newton's psyche is. But furthermore, imagine the Panthers' psyche, Sel. PTSD.
Oh, God.
Cam Newton was 0-8 in his last 8 starts for the Panthers. Cam Newton leaves, goes to New England. Cam Newton returns.
You're bringing up New England now.
Then Cam Newton 0-2 as a starter now. The last time the Panthers won a game, Cam came off the bench and helped them win coming off the bench. The last 2 times he has started, they have lost. The experiment of Cam Newton being a starter, it never should have started, but at least end it prematurely. As soon as you start to see the electricity hit the foil in the microwave, open the microwave. Don't sit there and wait for the whole thing to blow up. Panthers, don't let all of this blow up. Just open the microwave and put Cam back on the bench and let him come in relief.
First of all, have you ever tried it? I have. It doesn't really blow up. They just doing that to protect themselves from lawsuits, like a lot of things in this world. Oh, when you go out into a dining restaurant, I need you to have your mask on, but take it down per bite and then put it back up. They just write that stuff down and say that stuff to protect themselves from lawsuits. I digress. Here's the thing. Who led the Panthers to the highest point production this year? I wonder, was it P.J. Walker? No. Was it Sam Darnold? See, you too cocky now because you got it going well in your life. You know, you're not the same Acho I met, who didn't have the same options when I met him, because now you're as faithful as your options. You got too many damn options, so you're not faithful. Cam Newton didn't have many options, and the Carolina Panthers certainly didn't. P.J. Walker or Sam Darnold, you hurt and you're not that good. What are we going to do? So then they go out there and break glass in case of emergency and ask Cam Newton to do the impossible twice. It's hard enough for Cam Newton to try and resurrect his own career, let alone resurrect 2 franchises, 2 different organizations as New England and the Carolina Panthers requested of him. But since you want to bring up New England, I want to tell me if this is foil in the microwave. Since Cam Newton in his last 12 games, you want to talk about the last time he played in Carolina, he came off the bench and
won.
Okay. Cam's last 12 games, which is 3/4 of a season, old school numbers, right? 64 completion percentage, 18 touchdowns, and 5 interceptions. Let's just give that some context, just so you wanted to know who is that better than. More touchdowns than Derek Carr. Did I hear Derek Carr in some MVP conversations in the last year and a half? Completion percentage higher than your boy, Carson Wentz. And Baker Mayfield, but he doesn't count. He doesn't help my argument. 5 interceptions is fewer than who? Patrick Mahomes, Matt Stafford, Joe Burrow. Great. Foil in the microwave, guys? No, I don't think so. You want to talk about Cam Newton in 3 of his last performances has had 100 or higher passer rating? Better than a guy by the name of Ryan Tannehill that you keep telling me is better than I see from him performing this year. I'm not cooking books. I'm just telling you, in context, you had to break glass. And in context, you wanted Cam Newton to fly through and hopefully save the day. He hasn't saved the day, but that's why it was an experiment. If they really believed in Cam Newton, he would have been there from hello. They didn't. But if the conversation is about the experiment, is it over? No, because this had a high chance of succeeding. And
so if it's not over, what should they do with Cam Newton now?
You got to play him out.
Keep starting.
You have to.
You like Payne. You like Payne.
No, I don't like P.J. Walker yet.
I know this. I know you like Payne because
Payne Jr. Walker.
The Browns should keep playing Baker Mayfield, and I'm like, big dog. They doing nothing with Baker Mayfield.
That's on Baker.
Put him on the bench.
We getting there. We gonna get there.
We is gonna get there.
We gonna get there. Wow.
And you telling me the Panthers should keep starting Cam for why do you even want to ruin Cam's legacy?
Well,
that was
legacy.
my also issue with starting Cam Newton last week.
That's on him.
Cam Newton is remembered, Sal, as a Carolina Panther legend. Took him to the Super Bowl, won an MVP. Now, Cam Newton has come back, and he's lost the last 2 games as a starter. He's come back and had his worst statistical game, passing-wise, of his career. A last impression is a lasting impression. And the last impression we have of Cam Newton is now beginning to become worse and worse and worse. For what? What you want to start him? If you can't beat the Dolphins, you're not going to beat the Buccaneers. And you got to play the Buccaneers twice in your last 4 games. If you can't beat the Dolphins, you're not going to beat the Bills. And you got to play the Bills in 2 weeks. If you can't beat the Dolphins, then who you going to beat?
Who you going to beat?
The Dolphins were the 13th worst team in the AFC. And Washington, who you lost to, the 11th worst team in the NFC. So if you can't beat the 13th worst team in the AFC, only 16 teams in the AFC. And if you can't beat the 11th worst team in the NFC, only 16 teams in the NFC, then who in God's name can you beat? At least at minimum, Panthers fans, I'm begging you, start P.J. Walker so the losses go on P.J. Walker's resume. Please do not start Cam Newton. He has accrued enough losses in these last 10 games for the Panthers. Just start P.J. Walker so those losses for the rest of time go on P.J.'s resume, not Cam's resume. So when it comes time for a Heisman conversation, not a Heisman conversation, a Hall of Fame conversation, Cam does not have all of these losses on his resume. Give him to somebody else.
Man, look, I don't know what you're talking about right now, but if I want to go out, let me quote one of my favorite movies, Colors, when the dude went out in the blaze. I don't know if you watch Westerns or old gangster movies, but you know what? They don't go out like Acho, scared, tucked up, hiding by the microwave, no foil around them, like, oh, God, I just want to go out as they remembered me. Nah, as they said in Colors, you know what? If I go out, Holmes, I want to go out just like that. Black, black, black. Let me go out on my own sword if I'm Cam Newton. I'm not going out on the bench for P.J. Walker, Payne Jr. Walker. How in the hell I want to do that? Why would I want to do that? Let me tell you about Cam Newton. Because Cam Newton's in a position where he was like, y'all gave me $10 million because you guys were desperate. In desperate times, called desperate measures. You act like this experiment just came because it was through a calculation. Oh, you know what? This year we're going to go get Sam Darnold, give up some resources, get Sam Darnold, have PJ as our backup. And then mid-season, Sam Darnold's going to be bad, suck. and be injured. And then PJ ain't gonna be ready. But we're gonna go give Cam Newton $10 million. Dog, they were desperate. I don't understand why you keep losing context of that, because you are so removed from your desperate moments in your life. Now you're living in luxury, posting videos, Hollywood Hills, boy, all that money, huh? Beverly Hills adjacent ass. The thing is, if you look at Cam Newton right now, he didn't ask for this situation. He's just trying to make the best of it, trying to make lemonade out of this.
Get him out of it.
Get him out of it.
Ask for it, then get him out of it.
No, because it's the only way he can salvage his reputation. And last time I checked, if you want to point out his lowest moment, point out the greatest moment this year. Point out the passer ratings. Point out the touchdowns. Point out the first 2 times he touched the ball in a Carolina uniform. Touchdown. Point out the fact that he comes back and they have the highest point production of the season. If you want to talk about the bad, talk about the good. At least that's how I learned experiment was defined.